Today we continue our quest to get ready for Rocky Mountain Race Week by installing subframe braces. Stick around. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the garage, and yes, it is that time. We are doing modifications to our 72 Big Block Nova for Rocky Mountain Race Week, and we've got a lot of small ones to do. I did a video kind of overviewing what all still needed to be done to get this car ready, the cage being the big one, but this is another big one. This is the subframe brace kit. This is from, can't remember off the top, Global West Suspension, and I like this kit a lot because it does bolt up to the front subframes with these nice solid bushings that go up front, but the back side of it welds into the factory unibody frame mount, or frame. And so this should really tighten things up, make the car feel more solid, help with launches. It's just a must-have on these older, especially these X platform, where it has the subframe up front and then the rest of the car is a unibody. You really need to tie everything together whenever you're putting big power through the rear axle. And so this is the focus today. I've gone through, double checked all the parts, make sure everything's in here. And it's a pretty straightforward install as far as you go up underneath the subframe, remove the factory bushings, come back in with these, which actually sit in the subframe and then give you the clearance. In fact, I think they go like so, that allow you to come in here like on the subframe afterwards, and it tightens up, pulls everything together, and then you drill a couple half-inch bolt holes to run these bolts up front. Well, what we'll do is kind of get this situated in place with these new bushings in there, get everything hammered up tight up front, and then we'll figure out where the location is going to be for the back to go ahead and push this up to the frame. We'll sand that down. I've already sanded the lips of these down so we can weld that in. We'll sand it down, jack it up into place, get everything nice and square, and then we'll weld this side in completely, bolt this side down, rinse and repeat for the other side. Hopefully you guys can see everything all right. My big ass noggin's not in the way. It's been a while since I've shot video while working underneath the car, but this is the bushing that we're going to want to take out. We're going to go ahead and drop this bolt out, and then what we'll do is try and get in here with the pry bar, pry this thing loose, and pull this one out so we can slide the other one in. Let's see. Man, got it right the first time. May need a bigger breaker bar. Now it looks to me that one of the previous owners has had the subframe out at some point in time and had it painted, because they surely didn't paint it while it was in here. There's no sign of overspray. Son of a gun. Man, that thing's in there. There we go. Be honest with you, where I've got this jacked up is probably not the best place, so what I may need to do is put the jack underneath the front A-arm and lift up on it so we get a little flex here, and this will flex down a little bit, because with the jack stand here, we're supporting the subframe brace between this bolt up here and this one down there, and it's just going to have to be like prying on the whole car. Might have to loosen up the front one just a little bit to get a little more swing in it. The problem is I'm having a hard time finding a good place to get in here on the pry bar to pry this thing down. And this is probably putting a dent in the floor, which I don't really want to do if I don't have to. Hell, I'm going to try loosening the other side. Maybe this subframe's too square. Ugh. Okay, that's working. So I loosened up both, or I took the bolts out of both back sides, and then I am jacking up on the front K-member to put a swivel point in the middle, and we're still sort of on the jack stand, so when I go up a little higher, we should be able to pull them. Okay, now we can see if we can pry it the rest of the way out here. Yeah. Ooh, that didn't sound good. Come on, butthead. What a pain. Okay. One down, one to go. That'll wear a man out. Got the bushings out of both sides now. We're going to want to put this assembly in. And so this part is our top part. It's going to go back up in here. So we'll have to drop that in. Pry on this a little bit. Hopefully it goes in a little bit easier than the other ones came out. Okay, so now there's a cup on this side that's going to mate up through here and go up into our bolts. We'll have to set this thing back down to get it kind of aligned back up, because I don't think this is going to start with it being out of alignment here. But we don't want to tighten this all the way down until we get the bar in here, because it's going to go around this piece right here, and then this piece clamps our subframe connector into the subframe. Make it nice and tight. So I'm going to go do the other side real quick. Okay, I've lowered the front of the car back down on the jack stands to push the subframe up into place. I got the bolts started on both sides. We're going to tighten them down a ways, but leave enough slack that we can fit our subframe bars in here without any issues. So it does say it goes between the body mount and the frame. Okay, now that I've got them in place, it gives me an idea of where to grind off the metal, so I can go ahead and mark these. And it does come with a plate. You'll notice how it's got some gap on the front. It comes with a plate to box the front of this off and weld it all in. So I'm gonna grab a paint pen, mark my lines here, let it dangle down so I can kind of move it out of the way, and get this down to bare metal. Then I'll hit it with some primer, weldable primer, and go ahead and zip this in place, and then we'll tighten everything down and be done. Okay, so I got it welded in, and I've got only one complaint with this. These brackets in the back, I'm not going to touch it. It's pretty hot yet, and I still got a little touching up to do. But you can see it kind of turned out boogerish, and that's because the brackets are too wide, and I just beat the living snot out of them with the sledgehammer, try to get them close. I ended up having to go in there and just zigzag and basically triple weld every spot to get it filled in and get it over to the frame. And the other problem that this has is that the metal they use, very thick, hard to control the heat to get that metal to penetrate without burning through. I burned through probably 5 times into the frame, which then required me to go back and fill those holes in. But all in all, I'm not going to complain. because of my trimmers, I'm almost to the point where I can't weld underneath the car anymore. I could do all right on a welding table, but this isn't going anywhere. It's built up, it's got good enough penetration, everything's locked down. And what I ended up doing is, after getting the front buttoned in, tightened down, it pulls everything kind of up into place, and then I jacked up the rear and set it down on the bars. That way it pushed the bars up into place to where they want to be whenever the car is sitting on the subframe, and the bars kind of keep everything square and tight. And then zipped it all in that way. And all in all, not too bad. It took me about an hour and a half, 2 hours of welding just because of the gaps. If it were tighter, I'd almost rather it be tighter and then have to hammer it into place to get it to fit around the frame. I understand that they're building these for all different, you know, to fit every car, and every car is going to have a little bit different frame variation or frame width on there, but it was just so wide, it made welding these things in a complete and total pain in the butt, to the point where I actually pulled my solid core wire out and ended up going over to flux core, just because it was a little bit easier to get the flux core to heat both metals up fairly even and kind of fill in. And so what you would end up seeing is, on something like this, where this is one of the worst ones, and you can tell where the top pass got a little bit boogered, but I was going in from the top side down and welding, and so the first initial pass is about 1/2 inch in there, and flux core pretty easy to get in there. Draw a bead down through there, hit it with the brush, come back through, draw another bead in, and then as it gets wider, start zigzagging your bead back and forth to connect the metal. You spend a little bit more time on your thicker metal to get it nice and get your pull going on it, and then drag it over to the frame. And so, yep, she's not going anywhere. Last step to button this up is just to come in here with some drill bits, open this up to 1/2 inch, run the bolts through, tighten them down with the lock nuts. I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So that's the subframe connectors. Not bad. You know, a couple hours work, stiffens everything up. And the nice thing about it is, now that we have those in place, we've got a nice place to put jack stands to take the weight off the rear axle. So whenever we do the leaf springs and the rear axle swap, we got a place to easily jack it up, because if not, it's kind of hard to find spots with the tank in to be able to get up underneath there and swing the leaf springs out of the way. So it kind of serves a dual purpose for what we're trying to do here in making life easier for future work. At the same time, whenever the rear axle's out of the way, it'll be a good time to go in there with the flap disc, maybe clean up some of the booger welds, go back through, make another pass if need be, and then paint it all up and get it looking nice and clean. So we'll see, who knows. That's it for today. I got plenty more coming down the pipe as we get ready for Rocky Mountain Race Week. Make sure you stick around, subscribe if you haven't, and remember, always be tuning.